Hey, how's it going? All right, so this is Mike from NorCal Voice and Data. Just wanted to go over a little bit of the Keri Systems client, which is for access control over at 75 Arkansas for CCA. So first, this is going to be Keri Systems client, and you'll see it right here. I'm just going to click that guy, and in here, it'll say use default server. We've already set this as default. Site name doesn't matter, it's just a description. The server or IP address is the IP address of this computer. So this is all saved anyway, so we'll just go ahead and say use default. For the login information, please contact Melanie for this. And Melanie, if you need it, I've got copies of this as well. This use default language, you're not going to have to worry about this. And just for any kind of verification records, anything that needs to be updated, you can always check with the version number here, 4.0.1.0. But right now, just going to go ahead and connect in. And the first page that you'll see are live events. So it's not going to be too much going on right now, but this will when the school reopens, or if there's a lot of different doors opening and closing, elevators, different things going on. This is where you're going to see everything. So this is going to be your main page, and this as it should be. So there you go. Somebody just went through the front door here. Access was granted. It's in green. You will see that. So the name, the username, the card status is active, the card number. So that's good to know. As far as going in and looking at everything, you can go into card holders. And this is something that we already know needs to be cleaned up. It was at one point, but we had to roll back the software version, and it did restore many of the users. We've made sure to take care of anybody that we had to that was in the immediate, but there are plenty of users that we need to restrict access. So that's fine, and we can go ahead and work on that together or make a list, but that is definitely on the horizon. Regardless, this basically tells you all of the card holders and whether or not they're active, they're inactive, what type of user they are. Some can be super users, so they basically have rights to every single door, every single access in there. And you can sort these by just clicking up here, whether it's ascending or descending for names, their access groups, so common, bike riders groups. I believe there is one for, elevators, certain rooms, IT staff, maintenance staff. So, and we could even lock that down even more if you needed to. Card numbers, this is going to be a quick and easy way to find a person through their card number just by searching. And you'll notice that on these are mirrors, as they should be. The imprint and the card number should be the same. This is just your card status. Now, if you wanted to, you could add a new user. So going in here, and let's just say test user. I think we already have test user 1, so let's just do test user 2. Test user 2. Now this enroll from reader makes it easier because if you're near the actual workstation, when you add a card, you can swipe it directly at the door and it'll automatically fill in all the information for credentials. So that's pretty nice. Never expire, you can do that. So it's exactly what it says. It doesn't expire. If you do, you can, or if you don't want to do that, you can just set it to a certain date so that automatically goes out to 1 year. And then expiration reason, you can put this in here if you needed to for further just detail or organization. Temporary passes, you could do that. You can see that that changes it over to X amount of days up to a month. So that's good to know as well. Now in here, if we wanted to add a card just in general fashion without having to enroll it from the reader, you're going to go into card number and punch it in. Generally, I would go ahead and generate a random pin. That's fine. So for instance, so you can look through these and look for whatever you've got a gap in. So 10180. Okay, add card. So that has test user 2 as credential 10180. The pin actually it's not supported. This is for dual verification, so we don't really need that. Just make sure that when you do have these set, that you make sure that you save this, and you can look at it. Let's see, get this out of the way. So right up here, this is save card holders. Next to it is save all. That way, in case if you were to change something in tools, reports, users, doors, sections of doors, anything like that, and you did a bunch of changes, that's when you do save all. For now, we've only changed one thing, so just going to hit save, and that should be done. And so we're just going to go back from the top. We'll go to, see here, general. Okay, search. Actually, we'll go into search in just a moment, but let's go ahead and, okay, card holders. Gotta close this out real quick, get back in there so I can see if it did actually save, which it should. Nothing too fancy on the bottom, just the site description. You're not going to have to worry about that. That's irrelevant. Time, date. So, let's see here. There you go. Test user 2. I didn't grant myself access to any groups. That's fine. I don't need to. If I wanted to, I could click in here and then go to access rights. And this is where you can grant them access to whatever group you choose. So let's just say common access area, and let's say bike room. So just gonna save. Okay. So okay, back out of this. Go back into card holders, and you should see it populate. With the sheer amount of users, sometimes it might take a moment. All right. So there you go, common access areas. And if I click in just to make sure, I also have up. That was not the right one. 1810. There we go. There we go. Test user 2. Bike room. Common areas. So good to have. Anything else in here is pretty much self-explanatory. Advanced, you're not really going to mess with too much. You're going to, you can change the type to extended users. Don't really see that too much. Most of this you're not even going to mess with at all. Pin exempt, like I said, that's if you're using a type of door or access control module that does use pins. There's many other types that can use retinal identification, fingerprint scanning. We don't have that here. I don't believe there might be one that has a pin, which I think is near the front. I wasn't there for the initial implementation, but I think that the front door may have a pin. Contact. This is just to kind of help you figure out who that person is, filling in any kind of relevant information. Company, not really relevant for this situation, but it can be if you really wanted to get a good bead on who's who, where they're from, what they're doing. Just quick way to have it in the notes. Photo ID, just that. User groups. This is for linking several different areas into a group of areas, and then you could, or several different users into a user group. So say you have faculty. You could create a faculty group, and once you, instead of having to go to access rights, you can essentially make a user group that says faculty, and it automatically grants them access to the lobby, the elevators, the maintenance room, and so on and so forth. So that's a nice thing to do. So it makes it easier instead of saying, all right, well, they need here, 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 choosing 6 different things. It's much easier to do that. I'm not quite sure why this hasn't been set up yet, but we can definitely do that for you moving forward. Custom, nothing. This is something I've never seen used. I suppose you could just fill it in with any information that you wanted to put in, but it looks a lot, like, for me, a filler. Notes, just that this would be a better place to put in information. Maybe it's a known individual that has certain tendencies to do something, so it might be a good place to put it there. Going back in, you can remove users. So first, and you noticed right there, it'll say remove the active cards first, and that's fine. So we can go ahead and say it's inactive. You want to well, you could do it through here, but most of the time I would deactivate all credentials by hitting this right here. Okay. And so this is good because that way you still have the user and they're on here, but you can deactivate their credential. So say if they're on vacation, you can deactivate it. So that way, in case they left their card at home, or if somebody dropped their card, out of their purse or their car or something, you can deactivate it and just add a new card, and that card can't be used again. And say if they found it, okay, great. So then reactivate it, and then you can see if you wanted to. But so I deactivated it. So now I'm going to remove myself, this test user, completely. Okay, deactivate. Yes. Yes. There we go. So deactivating it first, then right-clicking it in here, then hitting remove, then yes, and then remove the user. So test user 2 is gone. So that's how to add, remove users, activate and deactivate the credential itself, and then remember to right-click on that credential to remove it completely before removing the user. Anything else as far as mass enrolling, very much like adding a user. Just once you have it, it's almost like a template. You can see its templates over here too. We already have one for total access, but you would make a template and then you could mass enroll or mass edit. And here we've got setup. Honestly, some of this I'm a little bit weak on. Ben Davidson has a lot more prowess on this than I do, but generally speaking, what we've already gone over is how you're going to go through anything that your main people on the facility would do, any managers, anybody in the IT department. Most of this is going to be system diagnostics, as you can see, not anything too much in regards to users, anything like that. So setup, not really too worried about. Reports, this is fine if you just wanted to print it out into an Excel sheet or a PDF. Say if you found somebody doing something repeatedly, just to bring to a meeting or to somebody's attention, reports is where you're going to want to go. Tools, don't go in here and mess with anything. This is very, very important. Just like in the camera video, This is the section that could have detrimental impact on the system, so please be cautious about this section. If you have questions, just please call us and we can help you with whatever you need. View is going to be technical support. That's something that we would deal with. Online help might have a few things that may work for you. Display colors would be more for like colorblind or just changing the theme of everything. Most of the time, we always see this light blue and white theme. And then about should show the details of the system, right? So your version, nothing too fancy here. It is up to date. So back to home though, this is where most of the meat and potatoes for the system are. Time schedules, if you needed to, you could set in schedules for the door to remain unlocked or locked. So you can see here, Monday through Friday, good to go. And this is that's for a work week. This is the front door, Monday through Sunday, active. So you can do a lot of different things for this. Say if you wanted to lock down the bike room, that's fine. This would all be done through add and then see new schedule. You can change everything in here. So very cool, handy, definitely worth using. So I'm just going to leave these as they are. Going to home. Okay, elevator groups. You can see that these are already set. Shouldn't need to mess with this. This is perfectly fine as it is. If you needed to lock down elevators, you would do it through this section though. So keep in mind for that as well. Never going to mess with global linkage or host schedules. These are all, well, you could, but this is automated, and this would be something that would also be done through the cloud. So this would be something that you would give us a call and just kind of let us know. But really what you're going to be messing with is under home, card holders, access groups. And in here you can see the ones that we've made already. And you can add more if you needed to. So they don't pop up immediately. You have to scroll down into the list and see new group. And then this is the setup. And so when you first create one, you'll notice how it has everything already checked with allowances. So remember that if you do create a new group, it will automatically unlock everything, every door, all elevators, and set it for everything open 7 days a week. So if you do that, just make sure that to look over and restrict it as you'd like. Most of the time you can just give us a call and we can go ahead and set that up for you, no problem. And let's see, I think that's probably about it. If you wanted to go over into a pre-existing user, let's see, so we've got Mez here. They've got their credential. Their credential has actually expires did expire last year. So really no point in having this credential as active. Five 9/2020. So it should be, even though this does say active, it should be not active. Let me just make sure. Yeah, so I think this might be a glitch because it does say active, but it's not because it's asking me to activate it. So yeah, my only assumption would be that this number may be used for another user. 10569. So what I can do is use our search function. Let me get back out of here real quick. So card number, let's see, 10569. So I'm not quite sure why this is still active. It does say it is, even though it was set to expire. This may have been changed after the fact, but regardless, just for now, I'm going to go ahead and deactivate this credential. So you can see it is inactive now. Actually, it may not have just been saved. Hard to say. Or never expire may have been checked off at one point, and after this expiration date went off, it doesn't matter because it was set to never expire. And then at some point, this may have been unchecked, but it was past this date. That's probably what happened. But regardless, I'm just going to make it inactive and save it. So you'll notice also sometimes it doesn't let you, it's kind of grayed out. It's because you're selected in a certain field. So if I click in a different field, it should allow me to just make sure that this is deactivated. Yes, okay. Okay, remove, yes. Okay. That should be good. When it comes to credentials, yeah, you shouldn't have to save them as they save as it goes. So it's on the fly. Whereas users, it's different because you're creating it. You're creating the groups. You're adding them in. You're adding the card number, a PIN if they so needed it, and then whether or not you want it to never expire, etc., etc. Just in case, though, to verify, it's always better safe than sorry. Just save it anyway. We're right here at the top left. To get out or minimize anything you want to do here, you can just go ahead and minimize here. This is just restoring, bringing it up so you can make it smaller, bigger, simple stuff. Anything as far as on the actual disk, the hard drive itself, should be under Keri, doors.net. Now, any of this, really not going to mess with. It's nice to have, but mostly anything that happens in here, yeah, just not going to mess with it. Just if you do, and if something happens, just please let us know so we can go ahead and get that working for you. Also, there is a client that you can use. It's the same thing, Keri Systems Client. We can get that going on any computer. I know at the moment it does need to be installed on a laptop. The only reason that it wasn't running before was because we had updates, and sometimes Windows updates can kick the server application services that are running to make this all work, which can be found in, I'm not going to go into depth, but it can be found in the task manager, and they're services that need their dependencies. Basically, they need to be running in order for this program to work. So if those dependencies get kicked out by a Windows update, we'll generally know immediately because we won't have this working and people won't be able to go in and out of doors. So it's a very quick fix. should only take about 5 minutes. So not bad at all. But that would also prevent any users, administrators, or like head staff from accessing this system from a remote location, which they can definitely do. But if the application server is not running, as well as a few other web app servers, app servers, and different things like that, that needs to be going in order for those remote clients to point to this system and be able to see the cardholders' access groups, time schedules remotely, whether you're working from a different side of the office or from home. And it can be done from home. It's a little bit involved using a VPN, but not too crazy, so we can set that up for you too. Once again, if anything seems too complicated or far-fetched, feel free to give us a call, reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns. That's what we're here for. And as always, thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day.